Hello, I'm Haejin Yu from Geography. I'm an undergraduate chair in the Department of Geography. And you can reach me at yun3@uwm.edu. And next is Sarah. Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah Reinecker. I'm the Geography Undergraduate Advising TA. You can email me at sreinecker@UWM. My email and Haejin's and Neil's are on the front page, and I think the last slide too. So if you guys have any questions, like we kind of mentioned, go ahead and put your hand up or write a comment or stop one of us. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about our programs today.
And I'm Neil O'Reilly. I'm the director of the Conservation and Environmental Science program. And I also welcome you this afternoon.
Unsop, you'd like to say hello to the students?
Hello, my name is Unsop Che. I'm a professor in the geography department, and of course, I teach in geography courses, but I also have several CES students in my courses every year.
All right, thank you. Let's start.
Okay, so I can jump right in. Geography or CES might be right for you if you're interested in one of these jobs. And there are much more a variety of different jobs that you can do with geography or CES, but here's a couple. We have had a recent grad in geospatial tech. A couple of our students have become city planners, GIS analysts at different companies. I know Boeing, and I think one for the city of Milwaukee, actually. Transportation, if you're interested in things like that. There's a lot of people who decide to go into forestry management and types of jobs like that. Environmental health coordinator, another GIS manager, and definitely cartography.
And this is Neil. Our majors have a variety of interests, going from wildlife managers, park management, management of solid or hazardous waste. So we are an interdisciplinary degree that allows students to cross boundaries between different programs and customize your degree in many ways. So we'll talk a little bit about that more later.
So this is kind of some of the topics you might cover if you're in geography, things like urban environment, sustainability, climate change, remote sensing. We've got a lot of students who are interested in that, and GIS. You can go on the urban track and do different aspects of that, regional development, and then we have a lot of professors who focus on environmental and social and economic justice as well. So the way geography works is we've set it up where there's 5 different tracks. So all of our majors that we offer, you'll have to take a set number of classes that everyone will take, and then you can specialize specifically in which classes you would like to take. So we offer different tracks in geography, geographic information, urban, environmental, physical systems, globalization, cultures, and societies. And we'll talk a little bit more later about how you figure out which classes you'll take with that.
And then in the Conservation and Environmental Science program, we have 2 tracks, conservation and natural resources, which is going to be things like wildlife, forestry management. And then we have a specific water track for those who are interested in stream issues, watershed planning. And this is also a feeder into our School of Freshwater Sciences.
Unsop, you want to cover this slide? Are you still there?
Yes. So I do, some research with undergraduate students, and then these are some of the outputs from such work. So they cover various topics such as climate, water, and water quality, and so on, land use change, GIS, and they were mostly funded by the program at the Office of Undergraduate Research. So the students were paid hourly basis for the work, and then they they have a great, they produce great work and then get their names, publish it. So I think this is a great opportunity for undergraduate students. I plan to keep doing this, and then also there are other professors who are also doing the same thing.
Yep. So student research is something that we pride ourselves at UWM. We think of research, it's often graduate students doing this type of work. But we support undergraduates also getting that same type of experience. So we offer research projects through the Conservation Environmental Science program. Many of them are outdoor research opportunities like in forest management or wildlife restoration. And one I've highlighted here is where we've got an ongoing project right now with River Edge Nature Center and the Smithsonian Institute looking at the reintroduction of orchids into areas that have been heavily disturbed where they're now lost. So we can provide, we can find grant dollars, tuition dollars for students who may be interested in doing undergraduate research.
That's such a neat project. I didn't know that there was like wild orchids.
Mm-hmm. So we also provide, we like to give students opportunities to get out in the field itself and experience it firsthand. So we have things like service learning, which means students as part of a class will go out and maybe work for someone for a few days so they can at least see what it is. Those are typically done in the first couple of years as students are trying to decide their focus. And then we also try to help them with internships to help build their resumes. So we've got a strong network with the communities in the southeastern Wisconsin where we will help you find those internship opportunities. And there is an example, just a couple that we've got ongoing right now this semester. We also have other facilities than just our campus itself. On the UWM campus, we house the American Geographic Society, which is an international organization. We also have 2 field stations, which many universities have field stations, but they're often far away and you have to travel for and spend weeks there. We're trying to take advantage of ours that are actually close to the Milwaukee metropolitan area where you can actually go there, have a field experience day, and then actually go home and sleep in your own bed. So we offer a number of field-based courses. So here's some of the requirements for the conservation and environmental science major. And let me first maybe explain it a little bit to you because it is sort of unique. We were set up to allow students to customize their degree and cross boundaries between the predominant programs of biology, geology, and geography. So we have our students take courses in all 3 of those areas. So they take introductory biology courses, geography, geology courses, of course, chemistry. We require all of our students to take geographic information system. We consider that to be a basic science that everyone uses today. Basically, we are always mapping things and trying to understand patterns. So we feel that is a critical skill. And then you take a series of upper level electives that you will focus towards your area of interest, and we will help you identify those courses that best fit that long-term career goals of yours. And so we require 54 total credits for our major, and then we'll talk in 2 more slides about some of the other general education requirements.
Yeah, so our geography requirements are kind of similar to CES's. Like I mentioned earlier, there are some classes that you're required for, depending on all of your tracks, that you'll have to take in geography, and then there's specialized classes. So you'll have to take a human geography course, a physical and environmental geography course, a regional or world geography course, a geographical information systems course, and then a quantitative or analysis class and a technique class, and then you'll get into more specifics on what you'll have to take. And some of our majors and our tracks offer a variety of different internships that you'll be able to access as well.
Are you going to cover this, Rachel?
Yeah, I was going to say I can cover this by all means. So for the other requirements across the College of Letters and Science, so this would be for all of our majors, we do have essentially 120 total credits to graduate. So that is what is completing the bachelor's degree program that you will be working on. As you are going through your career, 36 of those credits are going to be upper level courses as well. So that is really in your major, in other subject areas as well at the upper level within College of Letters and Science. So that's what can be a time for students to explore different electives within their major and programs, also potentially work on other minors that they may be interested in or other areas of interest. We do have requirements for all university students in math and English, so those are graduation requirements. This can be dependent on placement. So for those of us, especially as we're looking ahead for the fall 2021 semester, that will be a placement that we are having students utilize either their ACT or SAT test scores, or we do have virtual online options for placement testing for our fall 2021 students. So if anyone does have questions about that, I'm happy to share the link about placement testing into the chat. We will then also have our humanities courses, social science, natural science courses, cultural diversity, international, and fine arts. I did want to kind of skip over world language to explain this a little bit more. We will have a requirement for our Bachelor's of Science that if you have already completed 2 years of a world language at high school level, so for example, Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, you have completed that requirement then for your degree, for your Bachelor's of Science degree. Otherwise, for any students who still need to complete that requirement, you'll be doing that on a semester basis. So it would be 2 semesters of a world language once you are on campus, or if you prefer to continue in a world language, you can do that as well. So there are a lot of ways where many of these courses can be completed for not only the start to your major, but also a general education class. And then again, as we're moving forward, you'll have a lot of different opportunities for electives and upper level classes as you get further into your program and major.
And I just want to add right there, if you guys are interested in either CES or geography, there are ways that you can minor in either of them, and some of the classes you'll take will overlap and fit for both of those. So that's an option too.
And on the math requirements, sometimes people are a little scared of math, certain individuals. We offer tutoring. That placement effort will put you in the right class at the right place. So if you had any difficulty in high school with math, don't let that scare you away from certain majors.
Mm-hmm.
We also offer advising. And so especially within the conservation environmental science program, but also you saw with geography, there's a lot of options and directions that you can take your career. So we want to help you build your best resume by taking the right courses. And so we, at least in the CS program, we actually require you to meet with our program advisors. We'll help you decide which courses are best for your area of interest. And then we also do career advising. We help a lot of our students actually find jobs by contacting employers and making those connections for them.
Yes, also geography department also has the some advising system. Like me and Sarah always are happy to meet with you if you have any questions. And also the other professors, they are really accessible, so they are happy to talk and discuss your career and course plan anytime you like to. So please don't hesitate to contact us.
And then you'll also have an advisor in the College of Letters and Sciences that's going to help you with all those general education requirements that we talked about a few minutes ago. That'll guide you through that to make sure you didn't forget something along the way and then find out at the end that you need to take one more course.
Rachel, you'd like to add something on that?
No, that covered. I was going to say that information. For students who are going to be getting ready for fall 2021, part of your new student orientation as well there will be a session where you are connecting with your academic advisors. So I know as we're starting to think about fall courses and what we'll be taking this semester, that is also a portion of the new student orientation. Perfect. And I can talk about this a little bit more as well, just in general for our resources at UWM. There is going to be a lot of difference. I know we talked about internships and research throughout today's presentation. So there's going to be a lot of different opportunities within your program and major to start building up that either career pathway, resume, starts that networking opportunity as well. But we also do have resources on campus that include our Career Planning and Resource Center that is available for all students. And it's a great way to also take that practice of building up a resume, practicing interview skills, really prepping anything that you would need as you are getting ready to go into that job force as well. So that is an additional resource beyond your program and major in the department that is also going to be available for all of our students at UWM.
And also because we're in a major metropolitan area, we have lots of partners in the community that are willing to let our students come by, talk with them, give them, give them advice, give them opportunities to see what certain careers are right. So take advantage of that also. We have a lot of alumni in the Milwaukee metropolitan area that love UWM students.
Awesome. And then as general next step information goes, because I know that most of us are looking ahead as new freshmen for that fall 2021 cycle. For those of us who are admitted, which I know is most of us here today, one of the big next steps that has actually changed recently is going to be the intent to enroll. So now that you are admitted, we are always advising students to be checking your PAWS Student Center pretty often in that PAWS account. Really, this is going to be your one-stop shop where you are registering for classes in the future through PAWS, financial aid is posted through PAWS, tuition is in PAWS, your advisors, contact information is also in PAWS as well. So this is something that we want to make sure that you have access to. So if anyone has any issues with PAWS right now, I will leave my email so you can definitely let me know because I'm happy to help out with that. Right now, currently, for all of our fall 2021 admitted students, what we are currently doing is an intent to enroll form. So for those of us, if we have already paid the new student confirmation deposit, we may have seen that on our PAWS account after we were admitted. That has now been changed where you can complete an intent to enroll form that essentially just indicates, yes, I'm planning to attend UWM in the fall. You are still paying that $150 new student confirmation deposit. It's just going to be rolled into your fall tuition bill as opposed to having to pay that right away. So you don't have to worry about that right now. So this is a current update that is going on. So if you are still not seeing that intent to enroll form, I know that's currently being updated. If you have already seen it and completed it, that's fantastic because that does indicate to us that you are planning to come here in the fall. Other steps do include the housing application or exemption form. The housing application priority deadline is May 1st, so there is still time to complete that. We do have a requirement that all new freshmen are living in the residence halls unless they are commuting from home and living with a parent or guardian. So that can be an option for students if you would prefer to fill out that exemption form. Any of these items, when you're in pause, if you click on them, they will provide all of the links and the details on how to complete them as well. I know that I already mentioned our placement tests for fall 2021, just based on COVID-19 safety precautions. We are not having students essentially come to campus in large groups for placement testing. So for our students who submitted ACT or SAT test scores, we are going to be using that for English and math placement, but we also have the self-placement options as well that are online. So I did post a link to that in the chat that has all of that information. And then in the next couple of weeks, as we get closer to April, you will receive an email if you are admitted to register for new student orientation. These will start typically mid-June, so about the second week of June throughout the majority of the summer. And they will also be, again, a virtual option, and hopefully, as more details are forthcoming, if we're able to host an on-campus option as well for students. This will have new student orientation programming for all new students, and so a lot of great information to get you ready for the fall. And then there will be that advising session. So there is going to be that breakout session where you are actually registering for your fall 2021 semester. So you essentially can walk away from orientation with your schedule for the fall. If any of us are still in that application process or still thinking of applying, we are still accepting applications for fall 2021. So we would recommend applying and finishing that as soon as possible so that you are receiving your admissions decision and you do have enough time to work on enrollment steps. We also encourage for anyone, if you have not already, definitely submit the FAFSA for financial aid, so that can be reviewed by our financial aid office as well, so that you have all that, again, before the classes start in September. So if you do have any questions about this, I will leave my email into the chat as well. I'm happy to help out with any of these admissions questions that people have, or if you would like me to include any other links into the chat, I'm happy to do so.
And if it hasn't been shared with you yet, we are planning to be fully face-to-face again in the fall of 2021. So here's our contact information, and I will make the offer if you want to contact me at any time with any questions. I'm happy to meet with you, chat in any format you would like, share information about our program, give you names of alumni that you may want to talk to. So please reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we second that in geography. We like talking to people who are interested in our stuff.
Absolutely, yes. We are look forward to discussing or hearing from you.
Does any of the students on the call, do you want to have any questions? Are any of you leaning towards one of these two majors? Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
I was just wondering how I would see what classes I have AP credit for, or how that would work.
Yeah, I can help answer that question. So for AP credits, we do accept 3, 4s, or 5s. I will put our PDF for that into the chat. So we do accept AP scores of 3, 4s, or 5s. What we will need for the registrar's office to transfer that official credit over is we will need the official AP scores for the test scores. So that will have to come through College Board, and they can be sent electronically to UWM. And then the registrar's office will post that essentially under your transfer credit in your PAWS account. I do know that some AP testing, it's kind of moving around date-wise. Like I know currently some seniors are already starting AP testing right now as they're trying to stagger that with COVID-19 safety. So once those test scores become available, definitely make sure that they are being sent to us here so that we can add that to your transcript information, to your transfer credit information. I know traditionally, since most testing is done in May, it may mean those scores are not available until July. So if you do happen to have an orientation that is before those test scores are available and you're concerned about any of those classes, or, you know, do I sign up for a class if I may be receiving credit for that? Definitely make sure to talk about that during the new student orientation session, or just rest assured, if you ever need to switch something, you do have the opportunity to do that as well if you do earn college credit for a class that you're essentially registered for the fall.
All right, thank you.
For any other questions, definitely feel free. Like I said, if you have audio access, if you want to use the chat, we're happy to help with any questions that you have.
Looks like a shy bunch.
Ooh, are there any major differences between CES and geography? That's a good question. So I'm sure that one of the other professors can also answer this, but I think that the biggest difference is geography covers a wide range of topics, including like human geography and cultural geography that aren't as covered in CES, although I'm pretty sure that CES is covering like human interaction as well to some degree, but you can go in geography in a variety of ways of things that aren't covered in CES.
So in the conservation environmental science program, it's set up more as a sort of opening people for field type activities. So let me give you an example where these programs overlap, and that's why the college set up. So often people ask me the question, where is CES? I said it's part of geography, it's part of biology, it's part of geography or geology, excuse me. So for example, if you wanted to be a wildlife manager, you obviously need to know biology and understand how that creature, you know, functions out there on the landscape. But then you also have to recognize it lives out there on the landscape, and we often need to then understand its patterns and where is it moving across the landscape. Well, that's a geography question. So then we make you take geography courses so that you can understand that. And then we also would make you take some geology courses, because obviously these landscapes are formed by soils and, you know, and earth features. So they overlap. So the reason we had this session together today was because our two programs are very closely linked to each other. And so we would advise you as to best which one major best fits you. And often, as Sarah mentioned earlier, we may advise you to actually major in both, or at least major in one and get a minor in the other, because you are so close. Many of our students are within one or two classes of having a minor in one of our programs. And so you know, that's going to build your resume.
And if I add what Sarah said, and then the geography program offers both Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science degrees. So if you are more science oriented, then you can pursue Bachelor of Science. If you are more, say, either humanity or social science oriented, then you can pursue a Bachelor of Arts degree. So depending on what courses you take.
And if you're interested in the courses that you'll take, you can go to our UWM website in Geography and CES and see example tracks and what the classes you would take for each of these programs, and see which one of those might fit better and which one you might have more interest in. So you can see all of those classes online if you just go to Google and type in UWM Geography or UWM CES.
Yeah, and the CES program, our courses are taught by these people you're seeing on the screen today. So our courses are taught by the biology department, the geology department, and our geography department. And you can also take courses in other programs like anthropology and
That's a good question, Luke. I don't know the answer. Does somebody else know the answer?
What was his question? Could someone repeat it? I didn't see it.
He says, I'm planning on visiting next week. Is it possible for me to look at the CES and geography facilities on campus?
Right now, yes, most of us, we are working at the remote office, mostly at home. So what about you, Neil?
We are also working remotely, and most of our labs are closed.
Yeah, not that different in geography.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not sure there would be much to show you other than an empty building.
Maybe it is really advisable according to university safety protocol.
Yeah.
In general, I'm going to post it to the chat. We have started on-campus tours again through the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. It's with very limited capacity. So while it may not have specific, facilities that you may be able to see that day, overall, if you wanted to have that on-campus tour in general for the university, those have started to open back up again. I do know that slots are filling up pretty quickly because we do have to cap it at 10 people per group, but we are trying to essentially, and Office of Undergraduate Admissions is trying to open up more and more tours as they become available every single week. So I would recommend that if you do have the opportunity, especially since I know some spring breaks are potentially coming up, weather is getting nicer, to be able to come visit campus. So I will include that link into the chat. And it does look like we have also a question about internships.
Does it matter which year I'm in to be eligible for an internship? No. The type of internship may vary, but we do encourage students to sort of test out their careers and make sure really it's the right fit for you. So if you were a freshman or sophomore and were interested in some type of internship opportunity, we would be happy to try to find that for you. If you are in your senior year, we'll do the same thing. Be aware if you're a freshman or sophomore, it may not be a paid internship. As you get to be more, have more experience and more education, we may have better opportunities to find paid opportunities.
Yeah. In geography, you are required to take a summer class that is an internship field work experience type of class. That is required over the summer. But other than that, I don't think that it matters which year you do your internship. Hajan, do we have a requirement on that?
As far as I know, there's not any restriction, but maybe the limit number of the course taken or something. I'll check anyway.
Yeah, there are some requirements on how many classes you've taken, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Right.
Yeah.
And you can take more than one too. You don't just have to take one internship.
Yeah. And this is Neil. Because of the COVID situation, obviously a lot of internship opportunities disappeared because people were working remotely. We were lucky to find at least some organizations that were working outside. So Wisconsin DNR, their parks department, we were able to work out some opportunities with them. And we do have what I consider sort of mini internships. Is we have what's called a service learning program, where many of our courses allow students to go out and work. Typically it's 10 to 12 hours or 16 hours as part of a class, and that gives them some opportunity to, again, to go out and sort of test some of those career options.
Yes, this is Hejin. We do also provide some couple of service learning class, especially in the lower level geography class. Like for example, 125 environmental geography. So that class is also one of the service learning class. As Neil explained, a lot of our students worked for some other agencies, and they get some experience in the field or working with in the agency or something like that. And then if you like to see the details of the internship program in the Department of Geography, please visit the link that I provide here in the chatting window. I hope we answer your questions.
Yeah, those were some good questions. Does anyone know if the AGSL library is open again?
My understanding is they are open to appointment only.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, appointment only, and also they do have some internship opportunity as well. Yes.
Well, Kyle, you
questions?
are welcome.
Yes, sure.
So again, if any questions pop up is in the next weeks, days, whatever, feel free to reach out. We are here to help.
Yes, we are here. Not in our office, but home office, right?
Alrighty. Well, we can definitely stick around. Oh, more questions. Never mind. Are there any study abroad opportunities?
And the answer I'll mention from the CS program. The answer is yes. In fact, we right before everything kind of went into chaos, we had a group that went to Kenya for several weeks, working on a reforestation project over there. So yes, there are study abroad opportunities.
In geography, we don't have any specific ones right now, but you can take a university one for another department, and there are credit opportunities that you can get that overlap.
Right. If you take the similar class in your study abroad program, we definitely, yes, you can give us a petition to replace that requirement to our requirement, whatever. Yes, anyway, so you can have a lot of different opportunities in different study abroad program, not during this spring semester, but
and you can also do a study abroad by the university that will cover some of those general education requirements we were talking about in either CES or geography. So that's an option. So if you're in your first or second year, you might consider doing one of those.
Unsub, would you please explain your study abroad program with the student in one summer before?
Was that a question to me?
No, actually, it was not really a study abroad program. How could I say? It was an independent study course, and so the student traveled with me and then spent this many hours in doing the field work, and then later had the independent course satisfy the field work requirement for the major. And then it largely depends on, whether there is, of course, it costs money to travel and do the field and in all kind of expenses. So there were funding opportunities some years ago. I'm not sure it is still available, but things change, so we don't have to be really pessimistic about it. But it was more like a independent study, so like one-on-one course between the student and me. And generally, the study abroad means like a group of students traveling together with the instructor, and then that type of course offered by the geography department, I don't know, it's a long time ago, because there's a professor who departed, and then so it hasn't been offered for quite a while. So it's not completely closed, but it takes a lot of there should be a professor who are interested in doing that type of teaching, and there should be general demand from the students and so on. So I don't know, it is more difficult in terms of offering study abroad than before.
Thanks, Unsop.
Any other questions that we can help with this afternoon? Alrighty, we will stick around for another minute or two if anyone has any questions, but otherwise, thank you all for attending today. We really appreciate it, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining
Thank you,
us.
everyone.